this is Gavin with First World Survival, and today I'm teaching you 2 must-know emergency survival fire starters. My first trick for if you're ever screwed is mostly for adults, because most adults usually carry around a lighter in their pocket, purse, car, or anything they carry with them that they have all the time. So most times kids won't be able to do this trick, but kids aren't going to be screwed like adults are. So our first trick is, usually you have lint, a cotton ball, something nearby that you can light, or you can even use tree bark for this, just cotton works better. And you take the empty lighter, because if you don't have a lighter with fluid, it's gotta be empty, and it still works empty. It's just a flint and steel now. So you light it like you normally would, and it lights. And it'll burn the same amount of time as a normal flint and steel or lighter would. And it's pretty easy, just pretty much the same as a flint and steel, and the same as a lighter, except you can't really get the flame with this because it doesn't have any fluid. My next cool fire starting trick is, pretty much everyone always carries around a lighter, like I said, mostly adults. They have it in their car or wherever they are. And this time is for if the weather's rainy, windy, or sometime where you need a bigger flame. This trick is mainly for a cheap lighter. So what you do, lighters always have that cap here to stop the flame from going too high. So you'll take that cap off. You can usually just pick it off with your fingernail. And then after that, what you're gonna do, for cheap lighters anyway, they always have a switch. And for the switch, all you do is turn it around to the very max part where it would be the biggest flame. You lift it up like this, off the little wheel it has. You push it back down and bring it over, and the flame will be really strong like a flamethrower. This is great for windy conditions. I'll light this little piece of cotton now with my flamethrower. I don't really have wind to show it, but obviously with a flame that big, you'll have, it'll be pretty strong against wind. And you might even want to turn it down so it doesn't burn through it too quickly. So I turned it down a bit, and that's still on the lowest. And you can always reset it by doing the opposite, because if it's too high, then you'll run out too quick. So this is better. And all it does is that. So it's really good for windy condition fires, maybe even rain, and just really strong, easy to make. Now I'm going to be showing you 4 common ways of lighting your fire with lint, a cheese ball, a gum wrapper, and then an alcohol wipe. Now these are all pretty common things you'll find. Alcohol wipe you could find in your first aid kit, you might have one in your car. Cheese ball, it's a good snack, everyone likes cheese balls. Then lint, I just pulled this from my sweatshirt. And then a gum wrapper, everyone has a pack of gum, pretty common to find for all of these things. First up here, I'll be introducing the lint. So usually if it's more cottony lint, you can light it with the flint part of the lighter only. You don't really need the gas. This isn't really cotton, so I just added a tiny bit of cotton to it. If it doesn't have much cotton, you should be using a normal lighter, or trying to find some type of oil or something to dip it in a little. So I'll be lighting this now. I'll put it on this thing, and I just take the flint to it from the lighter, and I light it. It's kind of hard now to show it because I'm at a weird angle. There we go. So it burns for a decent amount of time. That's only a tiny bit of cotton, which cotton wouldn't burn that long. Then the lint's burning longer than the cotton would, which caught after the cotton started to catch. So you shouldn't really be doing it inside, especially when it burns hair, because that kind of smells nasty. So, well, most of you won't be screwed when you're in a house. Now I'll be using the cheese ball. This you can't really light plain with just a flint, but it's great for like extending the fire to make it burn for longer, because it's got lots of oil in the cheese, and it's really fake and processed, which makes it really good for lighting. So you'll get it to catch, then once it catches, it'll be burning all the oil out. They're better when they're stale, which you might find under your car seat if you're like really messy. But let's start with the cotton too, to get it to catch. So this also works with like chips like Fritos, Doritos, but you might want to wait till it's stale, or if you have stale ones like under your seat. Lots of people probably do. Okay, here's the cheese ball starting to catch now. It's burning pretty much a normal color, and it'll burn, I think, for up to a minute or two. But when it's stale, it'll burn quicker and get to light quicker, but it'll burn a little hotter too. And now it'll just take a while to catch. So probably not the best idea unless it's stale, which if you find it in your car, it might be. And it goes through the fluid trying to catch it. Okay, here's the gum wrapper. I just rolled it up a bit to make it like easier to light. And most of the time, unless you have like a really thin paper gum wrapper, it can't light with just the flint, unless you like rip it apart a bunch and make it like really thin. But so now all you need is like a tiny bit of fuel, or you could even dip it in alcohol and use just the flint. But let's say you don't have that. So what you do, you just get your lighter and you light it from the bottom so it can, the heat rises and it catches your other stuff. It's just like normal paper, it burns really hot and quick, but it gets other things to catch when you need it. Next I have the alcohol wipe, which it burns the alcohol off, and then it's like a cotton pad, I think, that soaked up all the alcohol, so that burns really well too. You just place it wherever you need it to get things to light, and it's a chemical fire, so it'll just burn all the alcohol, and it burns for a decent amount of time. And it burns really hot too. You just light it with the flint, and it burns really hot. I recommend always having probably a few of these in your car. It's good for disinfecting if you get like a really bad cut, or of course fire like this. This is my emergency fire demo. It'll help you. You should always have lighter, just something you should always have. Try to have cotton balls and alcohol pads, and of course cheese balls. You might find something like that under your seat. And then there's also gum wrappers, which of course most people have at least gum, which probably has wrappers too. Or they might have wrappers without the gum. You don't need the gum for fire.